Well, you don't see, like, an old man having a Twix. You never...
The mind of a genius, head of a fucking orange. You gotta love Karl Pilkington. If you don't, then I don't trust you. This man just brings joy to people's lives by being one of the most miserable blokes that I've ever heard of. Nevertheless, what a geezer. Here are my top 11 Karl Pilkington moments. Number 11, Karls Diary.
I've heard of Anne Franks and that, and I thought if she's sat in a loft, knocking stuff up, not much going on in her life at that point, yet she was still writing it down.
Yeah, whereas you've been to Great Area, yeah.
I thought, so there is stuff going on that I can chat about.
When most people tell you about their day, the battle starts to stay awake. But when Karl speaks about what he's been up to, it's fucking hilarious. I have no idea how a geezer can make some of the most mundane experiences so funny. If I could pick someone to narrate my life story, it'd be Karl Pilkington. I mean, he'd be talking a lot about watching porn, but somehow he'd make it work.
No, I will keep it up, because what I find as well is, I think earlier on, before I went away, I think I did learn something, and because I wrote it down, I remembered it a bit better. So...
What was that?
I just was thinking then, I forgot it now, but...
Number 10, Do We Need 'Em?
I was watching Attenborough, the mammals programme. I reckon I could do something like that.
Right.
And just have like me, instead of Attenborough, like a young sort of fresh person.
Yeah.
Watching like certain animals and saying, "Do we need these?"
I've often looked down at a mosquito biting me and thought, what are the point of these bastards? I mean, it's the most intimacy that I get, but surely we can get rid of some insects or some animals. Well, this was an opinion that Karl Pilkington shared, as on the Ricky Gervais show he had a segment called Do We Need 'Em, where he interviewed experts and tried to convince them that they could get rid of certain animals or insects. And this would lead to hilarious results, as the experts would get pissed off as Karl Pilkington's line of reasoning got even more ridiculous. The best one of these interviews has to be when he interviews Jessica Marshall from the Natural History Museum about getting rid of cockroaches.
Yeah, but I'm sure, if we were sat in a fridge, we'd go a bit quiet, wouldn't we,
Well, you might not know much about it, of course.
Number 9, Swing Ball.
No, I'm not having a go, you've always got to remember that.
Go on, just get on with it. Get on with it, I'll apologise after.
I'm just saying, watching Wimbledon, it wasn't, one of the major games, it was, little fellas in a wheelchair having a game.
One thing you gotta love about Karl Pilkington is he's always himself. However, this does mean when he speaks you don't know if he's going to be offensive or hilarious. Sometimes he's both, and here is one of the best examples when Karl Pilkington gives his opinion on disabled athletes playing tennis.
I just thought it would have, give him a game of swing ball or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what's better, what Karl says or Ricky's reaction, and I love how Ricky calls back to it in an episode of Derek. Number 8, Karl's hostage negotiation. In a time of crisis, who's the man you want to save you? Well, here's Karl anyway to give it a crack. This is a great example of the absolute genius way that Karl Pilkington's mind works, and Ricky plays it absolutely beautifully.
Because I've got a gun to someone's head, you can't burst in, right? You've got what? Come on, how do you get him to stand near a window?
Oh, I bet you're hot in there.
Number 7, the Pilco Pump Pen.
You've come on the telly to flog me a pair of pants. We know about pants, we've seen pants before. You haven't, have you? You haven't seen these pants. It's that bit there, that's the seller. That's what we're here for, that's what we're talking about. It's the Pilco Pump Pen.
Why can't all teleshopping be like this? In An Idiot Abroad 2, Karl was trying to knock items off his bucket list. One of them was to invent something, and his invention was the Pilco Pump Pen, which was basically a pair of trousers with one of those like aeroplane head cushion things sort of sewed into it. It's a terrible idea, and it gets even worse by the way Karl sells it doing teleshopping. Nevertheless, he does manage to sell out. It just shows you the charisma of this geezer. I mean, he could probably sell butt plugs to a nun, this man.
Look at that, look at the size of that pocket. Milk, loaf, bread, you nip out to the shop, where do you put it? You don't want to buy a carrier bag, they're charging you 5p a bag at the moment at the supermarket.
Number 6, running away from people dancing in the road. I've run dancing down the middle of the roads many times. However, when Karl did it, he was fully clothed and sober. While in Jordan, he was with some geezers who liked to get out of a van and dance in the middle of traffic to cheer people up. You know, as you do. And they kept asking Karl to join them. And when he eventually gave in and started to dance in the open road, before you knew it, he was sprinting for his life. It was absolutely hilarious. I had no idea that was the turn it was going to take.
Yeah, I felt a bit bad about jumping out and legging it, but I don't like dancing, do I? You know, I don't dance at weddings, so I'm not going to start doing it on a dual carriageway, am I?
Number 5. Karl's speech in Sick of It. When I found out Karl Pilkington was going to star in a comedy drama, which he also co-wrote, I never thought it would be this good. This show was excellent, and sometimes very profound. Probably the best example is episode 5 from the first series. In an episode about being who you truly are, Karl Pilkington delivers a bit of dialogue that is absolute genius. Number 4. Karl's film quiz. If you've watched The Shining, Planet of the Apes or Rain Man and thought, how could these films be even better, plug Karl Pilkington into them and there you go. Karl's film quiz was one of the best bits of the Ricky Gervais show. Each time Karl Pilkington put himself into a classic film, it was fucking hilarious. However, the best one probably has to be when he puts himself into A Christmas Carol. Fuck the Dickens version, I prefer this.
Do you know what sort of donuts Bob Marley likes?
It's not my business.
No, it's not a proper question, it's an old Peter Kay joke. He likes the ones with jam in. Yeah. Garlic bread. It's good, isn't it?
Number 3. Karl at the Pyramids. 99% of geezers would love to visit the 7 wonders of the world and would marvel at the amazing sights that they were seeing. Not this geezer. Karl isn't bothered. When he goes to Christ the Redeemer, he criticises Jesus' chin. When he goes to the Great Wall of China, he's not impressed by that either. But his view of the pyramids are probably the most hilarious. He goes on about it looking like a tip. He's more preoccupied by a plastic bag flying around. And the best moment has to be when he says it looks like a game of Jenga got out of hand. Absolute genius.
You don't normally see any of this, do you? You don't see that many buses there. It looks like it's sat in the middle of like a nice desert. But it isn't, is it? It's just a building site. I'm half tempted to ask for Ardat.
Number 2. Monkey News, the monkey bobsleigh story.
Do you know it's nearly time for the Winter Olympics again?
Okay. Is it? Okay.
They sort of come round every 4 years.
Is it this year, is it?
Yeah. And the last one that happened,
4 years ago, yeah.
there was a bit of an incident.
Oh, no. Do you remember any winners that were monkeys? In any of the tournaments?
Of course not.
No. So
So
it's
anyway,
not going to be that because it wouldn't be true. Go on. Yeah.
I'm surprised Ricky Gervais hasn't had a heart attack after listening to Karl's Monkey News. Week after week the stories would get even more incredulous, with everyone waiting for the inevitable moment where our main story's protagonist would reveal to be a monkey. But the best one has to be the bobsleigh story. Ricky puts out a plethora of reasons while Karl Pilkington's story is absolute bollocks. But Karl's not deterred, and it has an absolutely fantastic ending.
But the weird thing is that backed it up. Following week, there was a story of some people who visited the zoo, saw a chimp in a neck brace.
Number 1. Rockbusters, Karls Diary.
And the last one, if there was a Jamaican fella on the Titanic.
I'm looking forward to this. With a little bit of fear.
I've never seen an episode of Blockbusters, but I doubt it can be as good as an edition of Rockbusters. Rockbusters was Karl Pilkington's take on the classic game show. But in Karl's version, the clues would be absolute shite. The definition of cryptic got stretched every week, as somehow the clues kept getting worse. Anytime Karl involves a nationality in one of his Rockbusters clues, you know an accent is coming. And you know it's going to be fucking brilliant.
Jamaican fella, if he was on the Titanic, he probably would have screamed this.
Yeah.
That's Christ de Berg.
So there are my top 11 Karl Pilkington moments. Let me know what I've missed out. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe and leave a comment.